The first update we have today is Scheana Shay's recent decision to turn down an offer to appear on The Valley's third season. So in this video, we'll be talking about Scheana's major professional move, which honestly really illuminates the intense emotional calculus involved when these big stars think about walking away from reality TV. Okay, so Scheana actually talked with her friend Paige DeSorbo before she made the final call. You know Paige, she just quit Summer House after 7 seasons. Well, Scheana reached out because she was really struggling with the choice. Scheana, whose name is pronounced Scheana, by the way, even said she applauded Paige for leaving, pointing out that, no one walks away from these offers. She admitted turning it down was super tough, and yeah, she kind of questions it every day. But look, Scheana felt like she'd been running a marathon for over a decade, right? Just no time to breathe before the next thing started. She explained that this constant cycle, like going straight from her book tour into a new season, meant zero time to actually check in on her marriage to Brock Davies or her family. It just illustrates the kind of emotional exhaustion this whole production thing was causing her. Now, looking ahead, she's not totally against returning to TV, but she wants projects that give her that excited fire she felt doing Lopez versus Lopez. She specifically wants to avoid that anxiety, the tightness in her chest that comes with having to stir up drama on purpose. Scheana basically wants to find her purpose on reality TV, instead of reality TV being her whole purpose. Ultimately, Scheana's choice really depicts this shift away from just doing the required drama towards finding projects that actually feel right for her, personally and emotionally. Before we get into the next update, I need to check in with you all. If you're enjoying our little tea session, take a millisecond to hit the like button and subscribe to join the best reality TV community on YouTube. Done? Let's move on to next update now. Next, we are going to talk about Shannon Beador's recent gym selfie and the striking timing of her ex, John Jansen, marrying former RHOC co-star Alexis Bellino. So this all centers on the recent kind of high-profile stuff happening with these 3 reality stars. Okay, so over the weekend, Shannon Beador, who's 61, was really focusing on her fitness. She actually showed off her figure and, her weight loss in some black workout gear on her Instagram story. She even tagged herself at the Golden Door, which is this really nice luxury hotel and wellness spa. Now, here's the thing. This fitness focus happened exactly when her ex-boyfriend, John Jansen, was getting married. And who did he marry? Alexis Bellino, who's 48, and also a former Real Housewives of Orange County castmate of Shannon's. Wow. Yeah, the wedding went down at the ranch in Laguna Beach. And guess who was there? Shannon's previously close friend, Tamra Judge, was there with her husband, Eddie. Also attending were friends like Joe De La Rosa and Galina Saltkowska from the McBee dynasty. Tamra actually shared photos from the wedding, calling it a beautiful day celebrating the Jansens. Joe De La Rosa put up a slideshow too, saying how happy she was for Alexis finding her happily ever after. Meanwhile, Alexis shared some pics on her own Instagram story, her wedding glam, a really unique custom garter. After the wedding, she said the day was absolutely a dream come true and described it as emotional, joyful, sacred, and so us. She also confirmed that she and John, remember they started dating months after he split with Shannon, are planning on blending our families fully. They want to build a life rooted in love and faith and are apparently looking forward to lots of grandchildren since they have 6 kids between them. So this was today's update about Shannon Beador's weight loss moment, set against John and Alexis's wedding celebration. Let's now move on to next update. Next, we are going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha Williams and her latest relationship bombshell following her divorce. So, Porsha just wrapped up her divorce from Simon Giobbadia back in June. Yeah, they got married in late 2022, filed for divorce February 24. It just got finalized. And get this, Simon has to pay her $40,000 a month for 14 months. Plus, she keeps the Rolls Royce he gave her and the house. Okay, so barely any time passes, right? And Porsha's already making headlines again, this time about her dating life. She actually confirmed it herself at an event. She said she's narrowed it down to 2 people, and listen to this. She said he is nice and she is nice. Yep, she's dating both a man and a woman. But here's the twist. She's actually finding it kind of hard. Why? Because, well, she says these 2 people aren't narcissists, unlike her ex, Simon, who she's called one. Remember how narcissists apparently love bomb you and just mirror everything you are? Well, these new dates, they're actually like challenging her, asking real questions, not just letting her walk over them, as she put it. So Porsha's realizing, okay, maybe I need to change things up, soften up a bit, stop expecting some huge, elaborate gestures all the time. And of course, this is Real Housewives, right? So blogger Kempire is reporting that the woman Porsha's dating, she's apparently already been filming for season 17 of RHOA. Looks like this whole dual dating thing is going to be a major storyline for her big return. So this was today's update about Porsha Williams' dating life and her new RHOA storyline. Let's now move on to next.
Next, we are going to talk about Meredith Marks' clapback at comedian Heather McDonald. So this whole thing kicked off because Heather basically called Meredith out, wondering if maybe she's kind of fake rich, The big issue, Meredith's apparently renting this place in Park City, Utah for, get this, $70,000 a month. Yeah, $70K. Heather was like, what is she thinking? Questioning how Meredith's show money, plus her caviar line and DJ gigs, could possibly cover that, and things like apparently $1,000 a day on glam. She even estimated Meredith's show salary might only be around $100K. Heather then kind of held up Scheana Kirchenheider as being smart for, prioritizing buying property and avoiding debt. She argued fans want women who kind of keep it real, and watching someone spend like crazy is just stressful. Well, Meredith didn't just sit back. She jumped right into the comments on Heather's post. She insisted she lives well below her means, and basically told Heather there was no need to worry. Her key line was pretty clear. It is only irresponsible to spend what you cannot afford, right? And then, for the sign-off, she put, "Sincerely, Meredith Marks, JD, MBA, DJ." Yep, dropping the law degree and the MBA to really punctuate that she knows her finances. So this was today's update about Meredith Marks' response to spending criticism. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about Dolores Catania's recent comments regarding Guerdy Abrera's actions at the Real Housewives of Miami reunion. So Dolores Catania and Tamra Judge were chatting about this on their podcast, Two Teas in a Pod, and they really dove into the whole RHOM reunion, specifically Guerdy and her kind of lack of resolution with the other women, especially Julia Lemagova. Okay, so Dolores basically made this prediction. She thinks Guerdy is going to be in trouble next year because of how things went down at the reunion. She feels like Andy Cohen, the host, is just sick of it when cast members don't resolve their issues. He wants that closure, right? And the big thing was with Julia Lemagova. Remember, Julia threw water in Guerdy's face there during the season? Well, Julia apologized for it at the reunion, but Guerdy seemed, hesitant to really forgive her, or anyone else for that matter. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Tamra and Dolores pointed out that Guerdy claimed at the reunion that nobody defended her right after that water toss. But apparently, that wasn't quite right. Yeah, they said there's actually footage, stuff we didn't see, showing Larsa did defend Guerdy right then and there, and Guerdy even thanked Larsa for it at the time. Tamra kind of suggested Guerdy knew this, but might be, playing off the comment section because the fans were backing her up. And get this, Guerdy actually asked them to roll the footage. But Dolores confirmed that when they did, it actually ended up being proof against her own claim. It all led to Andy Cohen stepping in, saying, okay, there's no resolution, and then just cut it off with, let's move on. Dolores saw that quick shift as a big sign, thinking, yep, somebody's in trouble next year.
And just as a quick note, Julia had actually apologized to Guerdy way back in July on Watch What Happens Live too for the whole water incident. So, yeah, that lack of resolution at the reunion really stood out. So this was today's update about the RHOM reunion fallout. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the dramatic new preview for the Real Housewives of Orange County. So, last week things got pretty intense. Heather Dubrow basically said she doesn't trust Tamra Judge. And Tamra, she declared she was quitting the show. Again. Okay, so this new preview picks right up. We see Scheana Kirchenheider meeting with Tamra and Heather, kind of trying to smooth things over, saying the whole situation has gotten very overwhelming for Tamra. But Tamra, she goes right at Heather. She's like, why are you even friends with me if you're admitting, you're afraid of me and you don't trust me? Heather pushes back, saying she did explain her feelings, but complains her explanations are never good enough. And then, in her confessional, Heather's questioning the whole friendship, saying Tamra can't dictate how I feel. Tamra's also pretty upset that Heather and others talked about all this drama in front of Gretchen Rossi. Tamra basically says Gretchen just gloms onto any information. Heather does apologize for hurting Tamra, but she defends herself, saying she didn't just let Gretchen slide. She actually told Gretchen she was using Slade conveniently. Tamra accepts the apology, but she's clearly still emotional, saying she has to work through it. Then things shift a bit. We see Emily Simpson meeting up with Gretchen. And Emily is just shocked, right? She finds out Tamra reached out to meet with Katie Janela, and Emily's like, wait, why does Katie suddenly have credibility now? Gretchen jumps in, saying Tamra only believes Katie because it fits her narrative now. And Emily? Oh, she goes off in her confessional, calling Katie a known pathological liar and accusing Tamra of basically using Katie just to find some truth that can hurt Gretchen. Whoa. So this was today's update about the explosive drama in the Real Housewives of Orange County preview. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the recent court hearing involving Denise Richards and her estranged husband, Aaron Pfeiffer's. So Denise is trying to make her temporary restraining order against Aaron permanent, and honestly, some pretty shocking testimony has come out, detailing abuse, threats, and physical violence. And get this, the core of it involves Pfeiffer's own cousin actually corroborating Denise's claims. It kicked off pretty dramatically with Aaron Pfeiffer's cousin, Kathleen McAllister, showing up virtually in court to support Denise. Kathleen actually worked for Aaron at his holistic energy practice for years, from 2017 to 2022. She said she's deathly afraid of him, so much so her name wasn't even initially on the witness list. Kathleen testified she personally saw Aaron strike Denise with his hand back in January 2022, giving her a severe black eye right away. This apparently happened during a chaotic night of arguing, fueled by alcohol because Aaron thought Denise had put listening devices in his office. Kathleen also illuminated other really horrific acts. She mentioned escalating abuse and horrific behavior, like this one incident where Aaron allegedly choked Denise, pinned her against a concrete wall at his office. She apparently hit her head, got a concussion. Kathleen felt Denise could have died right then. She also confirmed Aaron threatened to kill both her and Denise several times, yelling that if they told anyone, he'd kill us all. She pointed out that Aaron was an alcoholic, which seemed to fuel his aggression. Then Denise herself testified, tearfully saying Aaron almost killed me so many damn times and would often threaten to throw her through windows or off hotel balconies. She described how Aaron targeted her when she was really vulnerable. Like, right after she had a full facelift, still had stitches, he apparently yelled awful names at her. The next day, he aggressively flipped off her cap, hitting her ear right where the incisions were, causing bleeding and intense pain. She also talked about another time in May 2022, while recovering from a 7-hour surgery, Aaron got hostile about messages, demanded her phone, and allegedly hit her, damaging a surgical drain she had. She even recounted him grabbing her, pushing her downstairs, and taking her purse and cards after their breakup. So, this was today's update about the shocking testimony in the Denise Richards-Aaron Pfeiffer's restraining order hearing. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the long-standing rumor regarding actor Channing Tatum and reality star Jax Taylor. So, for like over a decade now, fans have been wondering about this claim Jax Taylor made, whose birth name is actually Jason Kotche. It really illuminates his early days as a model way back in New York. Okay, so here's the story. Years ago on Watch What Happens Live, Jax basically said that Channing Tatum was his first roommate when he moved to New York to start modeling. It's been this kind of legendary piece of reality TV lore ever since, right? Part of Jax's backstory. Well, flash forward to now. Andy Cohen finally asked Channing Tatum about it directly on his SiriusXM show. Andy used both names, Jax and Jason Kotche, and asked Channing if they'd ever been roommates. Channing's response? Super clear. Absolutely not. He even said he didn't recognize Jax when they showed him a picture. Ouch. But, Channing did offer some context. He clarified how sometimes young models get thrown into these temporary shared living situations, like a model house. He mentioned getting kicked out of his first one, actually, but stressed that nope, he definitely never lived specifically with Jax. So, after 12 long years, we finally have a pretty definitive answer. That whole roommate thing seems like it might have been a bit of a